So good morning. How's everybody doing? Okay. So if you haven't ever met me, he was joking about the energy, but that's just kind of who I am, no matter how early it is. Probably one of my favorite things, maybe your least favorite things, is I'm an interactive speaker. So you guys are going to participate along with me. Okay? All right. So just a little bit more energy. Are you excited to be here? Okay. So today I'm here to talk to you about the intersection of tech and business. So how many people in the world or in the room are in tech? Okay. How many people in the room are on the business side? Okay, that makes my heart happy. So at least I'll be talking to everyone here. And so we have this very interesting relationship between tech and business. We really live in two separate worlds while we work together. And so that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today. So why am I here and who am I? I'm Tiffany Benitez. Oh, that light, let me come over here. My day job is I am the head of data governance for Compass Group USA, the largest company that no one has heard about, with over 580,000 people. Most people don't know about Compass because you know about their sectors, and so that's like your Dining, Wolfgang Pup. So essentially every corporate cafeteria, hospital cafeteria, school cafeteria, we kind of own all of those brands. And then I am the president and founder, as he mentioned, of the Women Plus in Technology. Started here in Northwest Arkansas, and we've got 8 chapters across the U.S. I have spent the last 23 years in technology, but most of my time in technology has really been trying to figure out relationships. It's been trying to figure out relationships not just among us on the tech teams, but how we can truly deliver and how our business, we can continue to build and flourish those relationships. Okay, does this look familiar when you think about your relationship either on the technology side with business or on the business side with technology?
I would like to say no. I think it's actually okay. For me personally, for anybody that experiences this, RIP.
Well, this has been me for the last 23 years, so am I the only one in the room? Anyone else felt this? Yeah. So I would say I'm just going to speak on the technology side for a few minutes. On the technology side, we develop really great things. And the business only ever I'm going to go to the business side before you guys turn. The business only understands what it is that they need. So they share with us what they need, and we go build it, and then they don't use it. Anyone been there? Yes. So that would be here. Now let's go to the business side for a second. The business are not technologists. So they know they have a problem, and they kind of think they know what they need. And it takes tech a really long time to build it because we have a long roadmap, because we're helping everyone. Okay, I see some head nods even from the guy that said he doesn't experience this.
You're right, yeah.
So my business folks, have you felt this? Are you tired of waiting on roadmaps and tired of not really understanding what's happening and why things are late and why you're getting yeses? Yes. So the bottom line is there's an intersection that needs to happen between business and technology for us to really have and develop what it is that our customer needs. Because technology often views customer as the business. The business is our customer, except the business is always focused on who the real customer is. And that's the consumer on the other side. So the one thing that we really need to focus on from a tech perspective is who the actual customer is and how we build synergies and work together to actually get the customer what they need, because essentially that's how we all get paid. So why does business and IT alignment matter? So the world we're living in, how fast are things moving from a technology perspective? Super fast. Super fast, in a speed that we have not seen before now. And with that speed comes with a reliance of business on technology to truly be able to run their business and deliver again to that end customer. So successful collaboration improves efficiency and innovation. So again, the goal is that we don't keep doing the same thing that we're doing, that we can stay abreast in the community and in the industry so our businesses continue to flourish and make money, right? And business needs versus IT capabilities. So again, I talked about there being two different worlds, but at what time and place do we actually come to truly bridge that gap? This is what business and IT alignment does. All right, so what are some key components of a strong relationship? Clear communication. Anyone disagree that in any relationship, this is probably step one to making it work? Yes. So we need to ensure that both teams understand the needs, the requirements, and the outcomes. So it means business can say, oh, I think I need this, but IT is going to have to take our background and skill set to dig a little bit further to make sure that we holistically deliver what it is that they expect. Shared goals. We have a goal. They have a goal. Sometimes the goals are not the same. So if we go off and deliver the next greatest thing that we think is super important and it does not align to their roadmap or strategy, will they use it? No. So we need to make sure that our IT objectives align with business goals for a unified direction. And again, trust and accountability. You do not have any relationship that is successful or does anything to fruition without trust and accountability. So we have to build those relationships, we have to build those partnerships, and again, based on mutual respect and reliability. So business gets very frustrated because they feel like IT delivers at a very slow pace. What they don't realize, all of us are stretched on resources. Does anyone have a surplus of resources right now? No. We're all delivering like what we were supposed to before we lost like 36% attrition, right? And the numbers just don't change. And that is the same situation for each and every one of us. But we don't really communicate about that, and we keep saying yes to everything the business asks for because they are our customer, right, in the IT world. So we just continuously keep saying yes, but we actually can't really deliver. We want to, but we can't deliver due to stretched resources, timelines, etc. So I think we're all in the same boat regardless of what company. But in order for them to trust us and stop building shadow IT teams, we're going to have to communicate. We're going to have to communicate what we actually can and cannot do. We're going to have to communicate when we're running behind, like before the day before it's supposed to deliver, because they have to report up to other people. And this is how you will build accountability and reliance among your business partners. All right, communication strategies. What is the best way to communicate with our business? Regular cross-functional meetings. So, who in this room loves to be in meetings all the time? I see. Jonathan has a half a hand. Who thinks there are too many meetings? You know what I didn't really see? My business folks raising their hands. But IT is over the amount of meetings, but the reality is we're going to have to meet with them to truly understand what their priorities are, what they need, and to be able to deliver. The use of collaborative tools. So, on the tech side, we love us some Slack. You might have a love-hate relationship with Jira, depending on what your role is, and Teams. But we've got to be able to use these tools, and not just the tools that we love and the ones that we think we should use, but what does business? So when I was at Walmart, we had Zoom, we have Slack, we have Teams, but we as tech, where we all communicate, we have to make sure that we're also on the channels that our business communicates, right? Otherwise, how do they understand? They're not going to just come over to your channel. So we really need to make sure that we use all the collaborative tools and understand what they're after. Breaking down the tech jargon. This is one of my favorite and one of the biggest complaints. Business folks in the room, do you know all the tech acronyms? Do you know the language we speak? I hear some, The reality is like, oh, listen, I say this all the time. Business and tech speak two different languages, okay? There are some words that you will understand, but ultimately, if I speak English and you speak French, and I come up to you and I have a whole conversation with you, you're just going to smile because that's the polite thing to do, and you're going to nod your head and you're going to walk away like, I don't even know what she said. And essentially that is our relationship between business and tech. That's what happens because we come in and we break it down into our tech terms that go way over their head, and they're like, I just know I have this problem. I don't even know what they're talking about. Just go do whatever you do. Then we go off and do whatever we do because they didn't understand, and we end up with the frustrated picture because they didn't use it. They're like, well, I didn't want that. Well, you shook your head, nodded, and kept going. So really just trying to understand their language, break our jargon down into a way that they can understand to make sure that we're able to communicate effectively. Problem solving and innovation. So involving business teams early on. Relevance. They will not use what we're doing if A, it takes too long. They've already figured out something else because they had to deliver early. Or if what we're delivering, which is the next best thing in the tech world, they don't care about and it doesn't apply to their business strategy. So really involving the teams early, keeping that communication open to make sure that we're delivering and they will use what it is that we deliver. IT teams acting as partners. So again, we live in these two siloed worlds. We sit typically where you work, does tech and IT or IT and business sit together? Yeah, most companies, the answer is no. I remember at Walmart in 2017, them trying to make the big move to product, and their idea was that everyone was going to come sit together. That lasted like 5 minutes. Everyone just went back to sitting where they wanted. And why it really does matter is that if they do not see this as a partnership, or you do not see this as a partnership, how much do you think is getting done? Right.
The results won't work very well.
Yeah, like the results are there and we deliver the thing, but they never use it. So that was a big waste of resources, time, and money, right? And then continuous feedback loop. So whether you work in Agile or you don't work in Agile, this isn't about Agile, but you need to find a way to get continuous feedback, demos, however you want to do that with your business partners early on. So you don't wait till the end of whatever it is you're delivering to figure out it's too late and they're not going to use it, or their strategy has pivoted. So making sure that you're able to adapt to what's needing to be changed, and then again, there's continuous feedback loops. Okay, bridging the gap, so mutual understanding. So really understanding how technology constraints can impact business timelines. Business people in the room, raise your hand one more time because I need to see who you are. I want to see the head nods as we go through this. Okay, how many of you have experienced frustration because you figured out or you were told the day before delivery it wasn't going to happen by your tech teams? Yeah. And the reality is it's not because tech didn't want to tell you they were working as many hours as they could to get it delivered. But what's really important is for you to be able to report out early on when you see that there's going to be a possible delay. Typically there's a project manager, product manager, there's someone that's part of whatever it is that's being delivered, and everyone is afraid to mark something red. How many of you hate to see red and yellow on status reports? Or if you're in that position, nobody wants to move it to yellow and red. Go ahead.
There's an argument for yellow. It's basically like if you're not under pressure, you won't perform as well. But green is, of course, better.
Yeah, everyone wants green, except the problem is we mark it all green. Nothing should ever go from green to red. Yellow is like, hey, there's something that's happening. We're still okay-ish, right? I can still go through the stoplight. I just gotta hurry up and get through there. But it is important for your business stakeholders to know early on that there are some things that are running slow. There are some things that might cause us to miss an actual delay. And that is communication and where they build the trust and reliability, because they're not, listen, they have to report back up to someone else that the deadline is now missed. And that person reports up to someone else. So I think there becomes a lot of frustration. So really just try to understand what we're doing and how it impacts the business timelines. Okay, encouraging IT to understand business pressures and needs. Again, this goes back to the collaborative relationship, connections, meetings, for you to really understand the value behind what you're delivering. How many tech folks in this room can tell me the monetary value behind the thing that you're currently delivering? Like the company's strategy, I saw one hand. The reality is they tell us what we need, we go do it, we deliver it, we move on. Okay, well, what if you actually knew that you were contributing to a $10 million savings? Would you have a little bit more initiative to deliver? Maybe the answer is no for you. But for most people, it's just a lack of truly understanding the value behind what you're doing. And we all love dollars. Does anyone in the room not love dollars?
Do I get the dollars?
Yeah, yeah, you get the dollars, but do you want the dollars? So essentially, equating it into what we understand on how much value we bring, I think there's a lot of frustration also on both sides, is that we don't feel valued. Tech people in the room, do you feel valued by your business partners mostly? Yeah, there's a consistent, mostly not. I mean, you might have a few that are like, yes, but mostly we don't feel valued, and we feel really frustrated because we work lots and lots of hours delivering, and they don't care. They actually do care. We just, again, have to go back to truly bridging the gap, understanding what the needs on both sides are. Making sure that what we're doing is aligned with company strategy. So again, that goes back to some of our cross-functional teams, agile methodologies. Also, my biggest pet peeve about agile is that everyone tries to shove it into a safe model. Like, agile is not a template, it's a way of working and a mindset that you can use for any area that you're working in. We just like to really stick to, like, you gotta have these 6 meetings, and then who wants to be in the 6 meetings? I see no hands, right? So it's just truly understanding the way that you actually deliver that. Making sure that what we're after is the same. Business and tech have the same goals and incentive behind what they're doing. Making sure, this is another thing. How much of what you're delivering is IT pushing to the business? Do you feel like what you're delivering is being pushed on them?
Sometimes, yeah. That can tend to get ugly when we give them things that, I mean, sometimes it's nice, but sometimes it's like, here's the thing that you didn't ask for, and they're like, we didn't ask for this, and we don't want it, so
Yes.
why didn't you do this?
Yes. I hear that most common is that, this is great, but I don't want it or need it, so I'm moving on, right? And we spent a lot of time and effort in it, maybe the biggest, best, shiny thing in the industry.
But some of that is because of the conversations you mentioned that didn't happen up front. And so the engaging questions at the beginning are better versus going off, again, the misalignment and translation issues of actually understanding. Because it may be something that's actually beneficial, but sometimes IT doesn't know how to explain it properly, just like business doesn't know how to explain what they want.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of this is part of the frustration. But the reason I asked the question about how often do you feel like you're having to push on is that that's what everybody feels like. They feel like, so on the business side, they feel like tech is pushing and making us do these things that we don't really know if we need to do. So the best way to truly get buy-in and adoption for anything that you're doing on the business side is to make them feel like it was their idea. So having those meetings and having those relationships and having it being business-led, you're doing the work, okay? They're not doing the work. But business-led means like they were part of those initial meetings. They were part of what the solution is. So it then becomes in their best interest for buy-in and adoption and to push down to their teams. And that really starts at the leadership level. So I think that we also go wrong a lot because we don't align with the leadership on buy-in on what we're doing. Sometimes it's some business teams and some tech teams and we go off and do these things. And how often does leadership pivot what they want? Daily? Weekly? Right in the middle of building? Like, seriously, like, y'all, C-suite moves like 24/7, and every time you get a new person in C-suite, you have a new strategy, right? And the new strategy means, oh, everything we're doing stops mostly or gets pivoted to something else. And so, just again, really having that buy-in from the top and leadership understanding what you're doing and being in alignment with that helps for more adoption down the way. Data-driven decision-making. How many of you have heard this term's been thrown around a lot lately? Have you guys heard this at your companies? Data-driven decisions. Data-driven decisions. But do they know their data's crap?
No. No, specifically do nothing.
We're in this whole like AI everything, and these companies and boards, and everyone's talking about it, also they don't understand it. It's like we just have to have it.
We gotta get it out.
We gotta get it. We gotta get a consultant to come in here and build us a roadmap on how we're gonna get AI and everything.
It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be amazing. So guess what? We've spent the last couple of years spending all this money, and now we have AI, and guess what? They're like, well, we can't use it. Well, yeah, your data's crap. Like, no one stopped to actually really focus on the data. No one really, again, they're just throwing around these terms like, we gotta make data-driven decisions. Do you know where the data is? Do you know what shape it's in? So now you see all these companies pivoting. Okay, like, we're not losing AI, like, we're still doing this. Now we gotta shift all of our dollars into data. We gotta make sure that all of our data is right, that we can use the AI, that we can continue moving. And it's such a bigger journey than just knowing that we have data.
I would like to change my previous answer about frustration.
Okay, are you there? Are you there? I love it. We're changing minds in here. Okay, and then they have to be willing, the company really has to be willing to make an investment in tech to really support the goals that they have, and I know sometimes that's a struggle as well. All right, so how do we measure success? I know everyone hates this word. KPIs. How often do we throw around the word KPIs? I feel like it's irritating because we make some numbers, but we don't really align on how we're going to get to those numbers, and then we're just told that we're not meeting, right? That we're not actually meeting the KPIs or the KRIs that are there. But truly understanding what the measurable value of what it is you're delivering and how effectively the organization can achieve its goals and objectives is really, really important. Continuous improvement. How many of you have heard this term? This is thrown around a lot in on the business side, like how do we continuously improve? But retrospective should be something that are familiar. Like if you're just continuously going with never getting feedback of like, hey, like is this working for you? Like if you get to the frustration point where you've delivered and they're not using it, there was not continuous improvement happening along the way, right? There's got to be those active conversations and feedback loops. Return on investment. We also hate this word in technology. Only because, it's not because we don't care about what the return is or what the value is. We care because the business does not understand. Let's just use data for an example. For our data and analytics, if I'm going to actually do this work to be able to improve the way you forecast and sell something, I cannot tell you today what the dollar amount will be. But business only wants to work on the things today that I can see a hard ROI on, right? Has anyone been in that situation?
ROIs are sometimes, in my opinion, like impossible. I mean, maybe with like a dedicated data scientist, theoreticist, but some of the stuff is just like, I don't know what you want me to tell you to. You can't measure that.
That's the deal. But we have to get more comfortable on the technology side saying what you just said because we don't ever want to say that. We're like, this doesn't have any ROI. And then they say, okay, we're not going to do it, and we just move on. But we have to get better at telling the story. We have the data, we know the data, we need to use the data, we need to tell the story. Again, I can't tell you today how many dollars you're going to save on being able to truly sell and forecast what you're selling, but common sense tells you you're going to make more money. But again, we just have to be able to speak to them in a way that they understand for them to truly see that. But return on investment is key, and your ability to tell the story is bigger than anything. And then everybody, operational efficiencies, everyone wants this, but be able to show the savings. So a lot of times when we are automating things, so let's just use that. So when we're automating things, how would you turn that into dollars?
Measure the amount of time that it takes for the person to do that manually and multiply it by every person that does it.
Absolutely.
Weeks or whatever.
Yes, so we've got to think outside of the box on how we tell the story, and sometimes, again, it's not that hard, fast up front, but we can put some dollars behind it by understanding what is the time we're saving, multiply that by the number of associates that are doing it, and being able to, that is speaking their language. Dollars is their language. Dollars and customers, which equal dollars, are their language. Anything outside of that, it's like, not doing it.
But you know that's kind of a tricky place, because trying to measure how slow somebody is or how fast they are, they don't want to tell a true estimate of how much time it's going to save them.
Yeah, mostly they don't. Sometimes I go and sit with them. Then they really get annoyed. So also it's an average, right? Like you might take 4 hours to do it, and I might take 6 hours to do it. You're going to run averages. But bottom line is just being able to tell the story. It's being able to tell the story with black and white numbers, because the black and white removes the emotion. Data removes the emotion. Okay, there's a lot of emotion that happens, especially on the business side. There's a lot of emotion. And in order for us to be able to remove the emotion and get to what we need done, you have to speak black and white, which is data. Sometimes it's averages. But if you tell me that you are going to go do this thing and you're going to save me $1 million, okay. Like I'm going to prioritize that with everything else, and it's probably going to get a higher priority. So does this make sense on measuring, like being able to measure the success around what we're doing? Okay, so of course, yes, there are challenges. I'm just going to pull all these up because I think they go together. All right, so biggest challenge is lack of communication. Does anyone in this room disagree with that, regardless of which side you're on, tech or business? Lack of communication. So having those cross-functional teams and having those sometimes annoying meetings, I think the meeting's not annoying. I think it's annoying when we go and nothing's really delivered out of that, right? So having a more focused meeting where we're going in, here is exactly what we need to cover. Here's what we need to communicate. Here's what we need to understand from you. And then leaving that will help with the lack of communication. Misaligned goals, again, what do they need and how do we deliver it is key. Sharing the incentives behind it. So, bonus. Who in this room loves bonus?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I saw a clap and like 2 hands, so no one else in here likes bonus. Great. Either that or I'm boring and I don't really know what to tell you because this is like
It might
9
be a pipe
a.m.
dream.
Tuesday after the holiday. It is what it is. Like, listen, I have a lot of energy. I get it. I also come from a lot of like not developing at the moment, right? And trying to pull it all together. And sometimes people don't want to hear that. But that's okay. I'm here to speak to you anyways. And so just really understanding what the incentives are. Everybody wants to make bonus. Everybody wants to make money. So how do we help them make money so we make money too and we all are happy? Okay? That's really what it's about. That's the overall goal. And then departmental silos. This happens everywhere. It happens in different groups in technology. Like I can tell you, I just recently left a company and not even the areas in tech are aligned. So how do we expect our business to ever even understand what it is that we're trying to deliver when we can't even align? So we really need to pull together as like all one tech, make sure that we at least have consistent messaging, make sure that we at least all understand what other groups are delivering so we're not off trying to deliver the same thing. And again, that comes with a lot of transparency, even in some of the ugly. All right, so what are we gonna do from here?
Schedule a monthly product meeting.
Yes,
Love it.
okay.
So well.
Okay, but we're gonna have a very pointed agenda, all right? We're not gonna waste time. We're gonna like get to what we need to.
Man, I honestly just ramble for an hour and make them listen to me.
I knew it.
It works pretty well. They're like,
They like you? Okay.
that's why I said at the beginning of the conversation that like, this is a very good presentation. And I do a lot, I struggled when I was moving into my role to do a lot of the things that you presented here today, but I've adopted a lot of them and it's gotten so much better. People, like the folks who are my customer, respect me, they feel comfortable approaching me, they talk to me, I can talk to them and explain like, here's why you're not gonna get your thing for another 2 sprints because the marketing team is really hurting and they've been asking for it. So like, there is collaboration. This is a good presentation. Y'all should follow this advice.
So I'm gonna tell you something. The reason that I am here to deliver this particular messaging, well, listen, I think I spoke at one other TechFest thing and I came in to talk about like the bias. And no one wanted to hear what I had to say, and that's okay. That's my favorite place to go. But I'm bringing a message that's really important for you guys. Whether you believe it is or whether you don't, regardless of what your role is, because let me tell you what's coming, okay? Let me tell you what's coming for our future. Every company is moving to business being self-service. Okay? This is happening. You can like it or lump it. It's happening. When business becomes self-service, technology will no longer be in a department off to the side like you are right now. Okay? Tech will then be embedded in with the business because business being self-service does not mean they're going to wake up tomorrow and be technologists. Okay? That's not what that means. But it means our tech teams are going to be embedded in with our business. It means that you are going to have to, whether you like it or not, figure out how to build relationships and have business truly get what they need. Or you will be phased out. Okay? So this is real. If you don't believe me, go do the research in the industry. I'm not some random person just standing up here telling you this. I'm telling you because I spend my days in and out in the industry, not at one company, talking about what is coming next. Business is moving to self-service. So if you want to remain relevant, no matter what coding languages you have, what skills you have, if you do not have this, you will not make it. So really figure out, yes, Robert.
I was going to say one suggestion. I mean, thank you very much for everything you've shown here. This is something that I do in my consultancy, and I've been doing this for 20 years. But as technologists, my biggest advice to you is get a coach, because you have to learn how to talk to the business. Because if you don't, then you'll get left behind in that aspect. I've been doing this for 20 years now, working with my technology friends. I've learned technology all along the way and become what I consider myself a translator between business and tech. But if you don't know how to approach your business partner, talk to somebody that you're comfortable with, practice with them, and that way you can get back into the game.
Yeah. The translators are the unicorns right now. So I think that's probably like the reality of like what I just said. Trust me, you don't have to say anything. I can feel it. You're like, whatever. You'll come back in a few years, I promise. You'll be like, whatever. But I'm telling you, it really, really matters. Figure out what skills you need to really be the unicorn. And really, the unicorn is just about relationships. Like, it's not something special this person has other than they've spent time investing in. I've been in technology, but I'm invested in what my business partners want because I can never truly understand this if I don't understand that. I need to know their roadmaps. I need to know their strategy. I need to know what dollars they're trying to make and they're trying to save, or I can never effectively guide my tech teams. So we all need to, like, what you're going to do from here, you can do whatever you want to do. It's up to you. But you need to try to make a commitment to yourself and to your future, right? Of like, I need to maybe work on some of these things. I know this is like talk nerdy to me. I really just want to hear the music behind that. And I know that you guys are here as developers, but I specifically brought this message on purpose because there is a bridge to gap. And you've got to come to this intersection and figure out, it doesn't mean you have to go change everything you do. It doesn't mean you don't have to enjoy being a developer and all of that. It means that you're going to stretch yourself to figure out, how do I become a better developer, which is really understanding what it is and the value behind what I'm delivering. That's all I got.
Hey, Tiffany,
Yeah.
do you happen to know if there's an easy, like, IT words to business speak, like translator or like thesaurus?
That's actually a really good question. I bet ChatGPT has something. But no, on a serious note, the reality of how I would work on doing some of that is like just knowing that we really don't have like this guide out there. You could ask ChatGPT, I'm sure it has something. The reality is to spend time with people that do that well. And the goal is not for you to change who you are or what you're doing, right? Like, you're probably passionate about what you're doing, minus the BS behind it, right? The frustrated pictures. You probably really enjoy what you're doing. So that doesn't mean changing what you know, what you're experienced in. That's not what it means. It means stretching yourself a little further to continue doing that, but also being able to build relationships with who you're delivering to. Like, if you're my customer and I just want you to have what I want you to have, but you don't want it, like, what are we doing here? It's what we're doing every day, mostly. So we've just really got to understand. And again, business isn't always great at communicating what they need. And it's the more we truly move into a real product way of working is where business no longer, they've loved from the beginning of time, even though they don't really understand what they need, to tell us how we're going to do it. I need this and I need it tomorrow, and this is actually how you're going to do it. Anybody feel me there? Okay, so in a true product way of working, no, you're not going to tell me any of that. You're going to tell me what your problem is. You know what your business problem is. You're going to tell me what your problem is, and then we on the tech side will figure out what the solution is. We will do estimates. We will give you a timeline. I got some claps back there. This guy. Love it. But yeah, but seriously, like, we really just have to continue to evolve. The industry is evolving. We talked at the beginning about technology. It's moving faster than we can even keep our eyes on. So I would suggest spend time with people that do it well. Go out of your comfort zone, go to an event, network, meet a few folks that really do that well, and just spend time with them. Like, hey, can we mentor once a month for an hour? I'm sure you can give up an hour to figure out how to get some skills to make sure you stay relevant.